Yeah, it's true. So, what does the government know that they're not telling us, that they're not sharing with us? And I have a couple close relatives and friends that work for the government, and we've had some really interesting conversations. So, I kind of wanted to go over what they've told me and kind of what's been going on lately in the media with that kind of stuff. So, one thing I want to start with first is what has the government admitted to that we know? And I kind of point to the Whaley House in San Diego. Most of you know, if you're not familiar with my channel, I like to talk about supernatural things or really interesting medical stories. I'm Dr. Andrea O'Connor, by the way. So if you like this content, go ahead and give a like to the channel and subscribe so you don't miss another episode. But what do we know what the government has admitted to? Most of us have heard of the Whaley House in San Diego, California. Did you know that the United States Commerce Department designated the Whaley House as an official haunted house? I thought that was really interesting. So to me, that's just like the government admitting, yeah, there's a haunted house. Haunted means there's spirits that people are seeing. They admit it. And I know it's a little bit funny. It's a little bit tongue in cheek. Like, what does that prove? But it kind of leads me into the next topic of what we're talking about. I'll go to the next thing. The Phoenix Lights. So what do we know about the Phoenix Lights? Well, I live here in Arizona, and in the late 90s, hundreds and hundreds of people looked up in the sky and saw something they've never seen before. It was the size of a football field, the shape of a triangle, and it kind of hovered over Phoenix. It went all the way up from Tucson through Phoenix up to northern Arizona, and it had amber orange lights underneath it. It didn't make a sound. It hovered very low. And if you were lucky enough, I guess I'll say lucky, I guess it depends on your perspective, to be outside at that time, and I know people that witnessed it, and darn it, I was not outside that night. I was in the house. I didn't see it myself. But doctors, professionals, our own governor all saw it. And of course, the next day, the military here, Luke Air Force Base, the police departments, the government, everybody was getting calls like, what was that in the sky? We all had like our book club outside, and we looked up in the sky and we see this like black, silent craft hovering and flying over the city of Phoenix. Like hundreds of people saw that. And our own governor kind of made fun of it. He made light of it. He had a press conference, and he had like a person dressed in an alien costume come on stage, and they just kind of made light of it. And he has since come out on a recent documentary, and he admitted that he too was a witness and saw it. But he was trying to calm down the hysteria because they were getting so many panicked calls into the government, the police, and all those things of people just losing it. And so he thought, well, okay, even though I was a witness and saw it too, I've got a duty. I'm the governor. I've got to calm this whole situation down. So he tried to make light of it. But I think that backfired, and it just made everything so much worse. Phoenix City Councilwoman Barwood was the only government official that launched an official investigation to come down to like, what was this thing? Like, everyone needs to respond. And, she had a lot of pushback on that. There was not a lot of success with that investigation. But here we are today. And now the government is slowly leaking videos of UAPs, underwater, unidentified craft that we don't know what these things are. And wasn't it interesting that Tucker Carlson recently on an interview said that he believes, and let me get to the quote because I do not want to misquote him. He said that they're spiritual entities, that they're supernatural, and that they've been here a long time, and that there's a ton of evidence that they're under the ocean and under the ground. Now, I can't imagine who doesn't know who Tucker Carlson is. He worked for years and years at Fox News, now has a very successful channel on YouTube and on X. And he knows a lot of people in government. He knows a lot of officials. And he's saying that he knows they're supernatural. And he doesn't want anything more to do with it. He doesn't want to look into it anymore. And I find that fascinating. So why is that important? Well, the people that I know that work in government, they themselves are seeing spiritual entities. We're talking dark shadows, shadow people, if you call them, the hat man, a dark figure wearing a hat. I mean, they're all over the ghost shows and the haunted shows on TV, all those paranormal shows. But I know people in very important positions that work for government. And believe me, they are not, I'm being careful not to say who they are because I don't want to affect their career. But they're not coming out and talking about it on YouTube like me, or, I don't work for the government. I'm a family practice doctor, and, I talk about it, obviously. But I wanted you to know that if you've witnessed something, that you're not alone, that very important people in the government are themselves having experiences and not talking to the public about it. And so is there a connection between spiritual entities and UAPs or UFOs? Is Tucker Carlson right? Are the people he's talking to right? I know the people that I was shocked when I heard that, because they're a very professional person, someone that I know, and that they're literally seeing entities in their house and around their house. And another person that I know is actually having them touch them, seeing them in their house, and on occasion hearing unusual noises. Now, these are people you would never expect them to talk about this. And I kind of feel like I have to be the voice out there, like, I'm a professional person. I have my doctorate degree. I'm a practicing physician. Patients rely on me and trust me. But I'm saying, like, there's a lot of things going on out there. And I feel like they're slowly letting us know. What else would explain why the government is slowly releasing that UAP footage? Listen, that's not an accident. If they didn't want this information out there, they wouldn't release it. So I would love to hear your comments and opinions. Do you think these UAPs and UFOs are spiritual entities? Are we seeing right now on planet Earth, because everything is so crazy, the battle of good and evil going on right before our eyes? Or do you think that UAPs are definitely extraterrestrials and there's something else going on with people seeing the uptick of people having supernatural phenomenon occurring? And I only can say this because I see a wide spectrum of people in my office, and I'm hearing it from them. And it's more than I've ever heard of before. So what does that mean? I know it's anecdotal. It's just me in my office experiencing this with patients telling me these things. And so I would love to hear your input and what you think of that. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for being here.